It is time to expand minds through movies, TV, sports, and flicks. It is time to boldly go where no podcast has gone before. It is time for the Captain Talks Flicks.
The Captain Talk Flicks.
Welcome to the Captain Talks Flicks podcast. I'm your host, the Captain Cortez, aka Mr. Love, and this is where we talk flicks. And ladies and gentlemen, this past week, I went back to the seedy underworld, bro. A lot of crazy, bad stuff happening. I went there and visited. Let me get into that. But first, a couple things. I want to give a big shout out to Bolivia. Got some plays over in Bolivia this past week. Gracias, gratitude, Toraba. In Bolivia, I heard about your zombie volcano. Starting to show some action, like it may be ready to erupt. Be careful out there. So thanks for listening. Gracias, gratitude. And additionally, this episode is brought to you by the album The Spacemen by the one and only Sunsu Cosmic, and introducing Ek Odlev. They got together to create this spacey sci-fi hip-hop underground album. I guarantee you never heard anything like it in your life. So if you want to hear the album The Spaceman, I will put the link below. Check it out now. Let's go to the podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, we went back to the UK where the rival mob families are battling each other. Last episode, we saw that Conrad, that went ahead and took it to the rival family. Some really nasty, bad choices. And of course, the other family responded. And that wasn't pleasant either. So this whole thing is just getting out of hand, bro. And tit for tat, going back and forth. Right, this war between the families is absolute craziness. But they did do some crazy things, so they're very heated right now. And that's where we're at. And basically, everybody's just trying to navigate this mob war. And after seeing this is definitely not something I want to be involved in. Let me be clear. You may think your life is stressful now. Got a job, got a school, whatever, parents, whatever, talking some mess to you, stressing you out. That world over in MobLand, entirely different level of pressure that has to be so overwhelming. No disrespect there, but it's just not for me. And seeing the show's like, bro, I want no part of it. Yeah, so be careful out there, make good choices, because that world is crazy. Now, what I want to do is get into something specific about the show. So in the show, a lot of choices are being made, decisions. And I'm not sure that these people are thoroughly thinking them through. Now, they might. Now, maybe they have thoroughly thought through. As an observer from the outside, though, I can kind of predict what their response might be by observing these guys' choices. And so far, I've been pretty spot on. But I'm wondering, though, do they know this or don't know this? And if they know this, do they just welcome that? Like, if we do this, we know exactly what's going to happen. And we're ready for that. So this past episode, the result of Conrad making the choice to go ahead and attack his rival's wife, right, has caused the rival family to go ahead and snatch up some of his children and do bad things to them. Now, when he made the choice before, he kind of had to be aware that maybe somehow this rival family would try to do some kind of harm to him and his people, which has taken place. Or did he not care or not know? Now, one of the episodes, last one before, Conrad is furious. He's like, I'm the man, you disrespected me. I'm going to put the force on you, bro. But when you got bodies like that, groups like that, I mean, this kind of thing can go on forever. This is like war with countries or war with whoever. Conflict can go on for years. I even know some individuals over the years that have had bad blood for years. So obviously they're not fighting it, but there's always been some tension between these people. They just can't resolve it. Resolving conflict between groups or people can be difficult at times. Sometimes these rivalries go on for years, right? For a long time. And so, like, after seeing MobLand for the last, 7 episodes, it's just like, just be good to people. Treat people with respect, be nice, be cordial, try to do no harm, right? I just feel those kind of lifestyles just not help you have a happy life. In my opinion, maybe some people are happy. But from this mob movie to even our level, a lot of back and forth of bad blood is just not the way of being. Like, so I don't have time to be angry or sad. I'm trying to live a happy, full life, bro. I got things I'm trying to do. I got no time for beef. Now, I know in the mob land, they're beefing over money and territory and all this mess, right? It is, it's how they do things. I understand that. But on the deathbed of these guys, will they even care? So one thing to say a lot as well is that, in our regular life, on your deathbed, will this matter? Now in the MobLand series, probably the death of their kids or their wife is going to matter, of course. So these are big choices, decisions, things will matter. But some of the other thing, like, his wife getting disrespected or, Conrad feeling slightly disrespected, his ego's hurt. Was it really worth going to war over? Right, if your ego gets hurt, is it really worth going to war? I had a conversation with a gentleman, I think it was like 5-6 months ago. We're talking about things in general. And I told him, I said, when I'm on my deathbed, will this really matter? And if it doesn't, I don't really push the issue. Because this gentleman I was talking to, he was having some issues with something, just raise some conflict that may or may not be necessary. I'm not talking like war or fight, but just tension and conversation and vibe and energy in the space environments. And so I was telling him, I was like, bro, if I'm going to take some kind of action to go at somebody, quotation mark, and not physical thing, or just engage in some kind of way and create some kind of tension, it's going to be something really significant. Because to me, it's just not worth the time to do this. In a lot of the scenarios in this MobLand, I just feel personally they're not worth that time. But this is a different world, it's different stakes, and violence is like it's how they operate, and I get it. But honestly, bro, I think they all just want to make money, if I understand correctly. I believe all these families in the show are just trying to get paid. That's it, they're just trying to get paid. If it was me, why don't you just work together and let's get paid together? And this is not just MobLand, this is in general. In general, I talk about this all the time on this podcast. There's so many different groups with different beliefs, different ways of thinking, different habits, different attire, different all these different things. That quotation mark differentiate them from other people, right? And they're battling each other for territory, space, resources, whatever. Right? Is it really even necessary? And once you combine together, right? I mean, and also too, all of us down here where we're at, we don't have a lot of resources. There's a lot of other people that have way more resources than us. We down here battling each other for these little bit of resources. It just feel not necessary. And in this show, these families are kind of doing that, battling for whatever. And also, additionally, in this same episode, Harry calls some woman named Kat on the plane, some high-powered, important person flying the plane, and she's able to stop something that Harry stopped like that. This woman has real power flying the plane. She got power to stop things just by phone calls, right? While these families warn this powerful human being, I don't even know who she even is, but she has the power to stop that, right? This is like next level power, bro. Why these families out here battling for almost like peanuts? I suspect that lady was in the sky was super rich, super powerful. And she ain't got time for no drama. She's trying to do her thing. And these guys out here warring over some nonsense, bro. Like, I mean, come on. I don't know. I've never lived in those worlds. Maybe this is how it works. Maybe it's necessary. I'm not sure. But I always like to think there's another way. Now, I'm not condoning this whole world of doing these things. The things they're doing are bad, but it's going to exist in a way that minimizes the damage to the public community, right? No need to be causing drama and all this action out here. Resolve it, get paid, do your thing. But anyways, the show is phenomenal. It shows a different side of life, the way of thinking, just different lifestyles, maybe I was unaware of, and just, how do humans navigate that, right? And it seems it's a whole another level of pressure that maybe, probably, I know I don't want a part of it. You should not either, I would think, but I don't know. Careful out there. So ladies and gentlemen, MobLand is violent, it's crazy, but it's interesting. It's another story of the human experience. And that's all these shows are. They're showing human experience in different worlds and how they react and move and think in the choices they make. So ladies and gentlemen, if you have not seen MobLand and want to see something new about the mob, maybe you haven't seen mob stories since like Goodfellas or Casino, it's been a while. You want to take a ride in the UK and the mob lifestyle, check out what's going on. Check out MobLand. It's over at Paramount Plus as it's recording. Pretty good show. Got some great actors. I think you won't be disappointed. So, ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the podcast. Thanks for joining. And until next time, we'll see. It's not length of life, but depth of life. Ralph Waldo Emerson. Till this time, it's Captain Peace.
The Captain Talks.